Hi, I'm Kelly Kramer.
And I'm Scott Sipker. Welcome to Southwest Iowa.
And the Hitchcock Nature Center in the Loess Hills on Iowa Outdoors. Coming up on this episode of Iowa Outdoors, we get out on the water with Iowa rowers and explore how this club sport is growing and how you can get involved. See why the Hitchcock Nature Center is the perfect place for adventurers to experience the Loess Hills. Walk through the process of collecting and banding hawks migrating along the Missouri River. And we try our hands at all the outdoor activities Iowa has to offer at the DNR's Iowa Outdoor Expo. We'll have all that and more.
So sit tight. Iowa Outdoors is about to begin.
Funding for Iowa Outdoors is provided by the Claude P. Small, Catherine Small Cousins, and William Carl Cousins Fund at the Lincoln Way Community Foundation in Clinton County to support nature programming on Iowa Public Television.
Many of Iowa's natural wonders you'll find on IPTV can be found in Iowa Outdoors magazine, the Iowa DNR's premier resource for conservation, education, and recreation activities. Subscription information can be found online at iowadnr.gov.
Iowa Communications Network, ICN's Broadband Matters campaign, advocates for access to high-speed broadband in all corners of Iowa for education, public safety, healthcare, government, and economic development. Information is available at broadbandmatters.com.
Tiny openings around your house can let in a lot of cold air. This includes areas where you see light coming in, especially around windows, doors, and outlets. With the heating season approaching, Alliant Energy encourages you to weatherize now to make your home more energy efficient.
Is there a better time to be in Iowa than fall? Between the parade of autumn colors and the crisp temperatures awakening the spirit, fall in Iowa practically forces us to get outside and enjoy nature.
Putting aside the major sporting events that tend to grab our attention this time of year, almost every outdoor activity thrives come October. It's as if the dropping temperatures push us to find that one last excuse to get out and hike, or fish, or even get in the water.
Iowa rowing clubs are wrapping up practices and races this time of year. Fall often provides great conditions in terms of both the weather and the river for the annual Head of the Des Moines Regatta through our scenic capital city.
The regatta is a chance to compete, as well as showcase rowing to spectators. And for those who want to get on the water and try rowing themselves, Iowa is home to many rowing clubs that teach and promote the sport throughout the year.
Every September, rowers from across Iowa and just about every neighboring state gather in Des Moines for the Head of the Des Moines Regatta. The regatta has been a staple for more than 30 years, although rowing races have happened regularly on the Des Moines River since the late 1800s.
We're one of the longest running regattas in the Midwest and maybe even in the country. And we also have the longest course of any head races in the Midwest.
The Head of the Des Moines is about 3 miles long, testing the physical and mental endurance of rowers. Aside from major flooding events, the Saylorville Dam usually keeps the Des Moines River at an ideal level and condition for rowing.
We just have a beautiful river here in Des Moines, a nice curvy river, but not too curvy, and beautiful bridges to row under.
They kind of compare it to the Head of the Charles, because that's another very curvy course. So a lot of the rivers that people race on are much straighter.
Go!
The parade of colorful boats, oars, and uniforms continues upstream for hours. Several clubs in Iowa participate, as well as collegiate programs from the University of Iowa and Drake. Most clubs and teams have unique colors or symbols on their oars to distinguish themselves.
Sweep rowing is what you traditionally see at the Olympics with 8s and 4s. So you have a cox who's sort of bringing the crew all together and motivating them, and then you have people 1 through 8 or 1 through 4, and they each have a long oar. And so the goal is to be moving together as one. And then you have sculling, which is where you have 1 oar in each hand. It's a shorter oar, and you have singles, doubles, and quads.
The Des Moines Rowing Club hosts the regatta. Its 200 members include novice rowers and experienced masters. Rowing is a great sport for people of all ages and all physical abilities.
At age 60, I was looking for another mode of exercise, having had both hips replaced. So I looked at rowing and realized it was strength, power, speed, finesse, outdoors, sun, wind, water, competitive and recreational, and I like all of those. So I came to rowing.
And once you get it down, it's a fairly low impact sport because it's the gliding motion of it. You're not jarring on your knees or your ankles, and you can adjust. So we have 2 adaptive rowers that don't even use their legs. And so that's kind of the beauty of it, is you can adjust it for your ability level.
At the head of the Des Moines Regatta, the sport is on display to some spectators for the first time. Experienced rowers make it look easy.
When you watch the boat, you just think it's all arms and body because the legs are below. But it's all legs, very little arms and body. And so that's what's really the hardest when you're teaching somebody new, is they don't realize that it's in the legs, especially the men's tend to do a lot more muscles with it, a lot more arms.
The power is really from the legs and driven from the legs. So it's a great sport for women because no matter how strong the guy is, I can walk farther on my legs than he can walk on his hands.
Many clubs, including the Des Moines Rowing Club, offer a Learn to Row program every year to help bring in people who are interested in the sport and to teach newcomers how to row.
We'll accommodate whatever the interest du jour is. If I want to be more competitive, I can find a group of people who will do that. If I want to go bird watching, there's a group of people who will do that, who will stop the boat to watch the egrets go by or the eagles catch breakfast.
The Hawkeye Community Rowing Program in Iowa City started with fewer than 10 members. Now there are more than 80, from middle schoolers to retirees. At sunrise on a crisp fall Sunday morning, several rowers, some having recently competed at the head of the Des Moines Regatta, got into boats for an early morning practice.
Right pressure. One more. Good, even.
I started rowing with the program in June, and that was my first experience. I did a Learn to Row in May, so I've been doing it, 3-4 months now. I really like it. It's a great workout, a great camaraderie. It's a great team building sport. It's a lot different than I thought it was going to be, but it's good.
Good, so no breaking of the wrist at the finish. You can look down at it.
Coach Danelle Stipes knows it's all about technique. She's beloved by her rowers for her knowledge and supportive approach.
Square those blades up, find the water. So my job, as I see it, is to blend all of those people. So whenever we're going out to practice, I'm picking one thing that I can just make everybody look the same and learn about the sport of rowing with. And then I pick out the groups of people, like our more competitive group. They'll work more on power and really executing a strong stroke. Our more recreational rowers or our newer rowers who are in that level, I work more on just the technique of the sport and just really enjoying what it feels like to get out and move the boat.
It's just a lot of fun, and this is a great group. It's very low pressure. It's like if you want to race and you want to be very serious about it, you can, but if you don't want to, that's fine too, and I really like that.
The 8-person boats are 60 feet long and weigh about 300 pounds. Everybody has to be in sync to move the boat along the water smoothly.
It's good exercise. I mean, it's low impact. It's very good in that way, but there's also a really good group atmosphere. I mean, it's an individual. There's very much individual skills, but it's a very good team dynamic.
My coach has said it's like the ultimate team sport because you've got your teammates there and you have to do exactly what the person in front of you is doing. You have to be like a well-oiled machine. And so I really like sort of the sense of camaraderie that comes from that. When we have a really good race, you know that it wasn't just you, it was everybody else around you.
If you like being on the water, contact a rowing club in Des Moines, Iowa City, Waterloo, the Quad Cities, or Omaha, and give the sport a try.
It's just a great way to start the day, rowing before work, the mist is rising off the river, the sun's coming up. It's a great feeling.
I like those afternoon rows when it's just a beautiful Des Moines day.
And it's addictive. On a day like today, particularly, it's addictive.
It's great when the sun's coming up. It's getting a little cold, but I like that crisp fall feeling in the air. It's just nice to come here and spend time and just be able to relax and row.
For many, fall signals the end of the outdoor adventure season. But for patrons of the Hitchcock Nature Center, autumn is without question the time to be outside.
Set in the rolling hills of Potawatomi County, Hitchcock offers 10 miles of trails, camping, and the perfect perch to soak in all the glorious colors that October has to offer.
From backcountry campers to passionate birders, the Hitchcock Nature Center is a must for outdoors enthusiasts.
Only 2 places in the world can claim to host a landform like the Loess Hills: the Howang-Tu Plateau in China and a 200-mile stretch of Iowa's western border. And while there are many sites designed for visitors to venture out into the hills, none are as dedicated to fostering an understanding and appreciation of the area as the Hitchcock Nature Center and Potawatomi County.
We're guided by a mission. And the mission here at Hitchcock Nature Center encompasses 3 main things. One, we're in the middle of the Loess Hills, so part of our mission is to protect this landform and restore the biological communities that are here. The other 2 parts of our mission are to provide low-impact recreation so people can get out and enjoy this place. And then the third part is to teach people about what's special about this. So we have an environmental education program that they go into all the schools, they bring all the schools out to the parks for field trips. But they don't teach about the rainforest, they don't teach about the mountains, they teach about what's really cool right here in our backyard.
In Iowa's backyard is the Loess Hills. To some, they may appear to look like ordinary hills, but underneath the prairie grass and trees lies an extremely delicate collection of dust and silt that took thousands of years to form.
It happened during the ice ages. The glaciers ground up material that flowed down here in the river and then settled out in the river valley and then blew here from the Missouri River Valley and was deposited right on the edge of the floodplain. It piled up over thousands of years into huge drifts of dust, and it's very fragile and quite unique.
Just like the Loess Hills, the Hitchcock Nature Center is unique. Unlike so many popular parks across Iowa, Hitchcock is not maintained by the state, but its host county of Potawatomi. And to Chad, this arrangement is what makes Hitchcock so special.
Well, we're fortunate in this state that every county has a conservation department that operates parks and preserves. It's a unique system in the country. And so the interesting thing about that is that every county then kind of has its own flavor, its own personality, and we're fortunate to have it.
Visitors to Hitchcock will discover a wide array of activities to enjoy, reveling in the fall color of the hills, exploring its many backcountry trails, walking the half-mile wheelchair-accessible boardwalk, joining the popular bird and hawk watch, camping, and even taking in a bit of our nation's history.
So the old Lincoln Highway was the first transcontinental highway, and it came right through here. And remnants of it are on the property, and some of the current roads that we still use here are part of that.
As educational and adventurous as the Hitchcock Nature Center is, it offers far more than can be truly experienced in just one day. And that is what makes Chad so eager to share the gifts of Hitchcock and the Loess Hills.
I think the most exciting thing for me is to help people recognize that these natural areas are amazingly complex, and they are a functioning system that defies our ability to comprehend. And it's just so much fun to try to comprehend. It brings the child out in you again, your curiosity, and there's a new discovery every day, and it's just an awful lot of fun.
There are 2 certainties of autumn in Iowa. The first is that falling temperatures will give way to a beautiful array of fall colors. The second is that the skies will fill with migrating birds riding the wind south to warmer climates. Whether you're looking for hawks, falcons, or eagles, from September to November, all are easily visible in the Iowa skyways.
Here at the Hitchcock Nature Center, conservationists are doing much more than scanning the skies for these animals. Working with the U.S. Geological Survey, Hitchcock researchers use this time of year to catalog all different types of migrating birds and tag them for easy identification. For raptor banders, the Loess Hills are the ideal Iowa location to lure migrating birds of prey and band them for further study. But But even if you're in the right location and the weather's perfect, raptor banding is a lost cause if the birds don't cooperate.
Migration should be really heavy, but today it isn't, so it's been a weird year all around.
Since the Hitchcock Nature Center started its raptor banding operation in the mid-2000s, Jerry Toll has been a part of it. Formerly a member of the Nature Center's long-running Hawk Watch, Jerry estimates he's personally banded over 1,000 birds.
Do something for over 20 years, you start to get a pretty good idea how things work. Well, all the rules, all the things that usually work are not working this year.
In order to better understand and protect North America's bird population, raptor banders such as Jerry work with the U.S. Geological Survey to tag migrating birds for study. It's a process that requires enticing, collecting, tagging, charting, and ultimately releasing various hawks, falcons, owls, and other birds that fly by. For the Hitchcock Nature Center, that generally means a few specific species.
Well, there's the big three, red-tailed hawks, Cooper's hawks, and sharpshins. At night we band saw-whet owls. That makes up the bulk of the birds that we band here.
This is the first year, it's a hatch year bird, which means it's first year of life, and the way I can tell that.
All the birds banded at the Hitchcock Nature Center are commonly referred to as raptors or birds of prey, meaning they normally feed on other animals and smaller birds. So the first part of the banding process is setting a lure, which in this case means pigeons and starlings. While these birds are in some danger, between the nets that surround them, the lure wiring attached to their feet, and the quick collection time of the raptors, the lure birds are by and large safe. Working in tandem with the Hitchcock Lodge watchtower, Jerry and his banding peers wait patiently for a bird to take the bait, and when one ultimately does, things get exciting in a hurry.
The main thing is to be concerned about the feet, because if they grab a hold of you, you're in trouble.
Even with proper procedure in mind, Jerry still takes a moment to admire the raptors.
Oh, this is a beautiful bird.
This red-tailed hawk is the first successful capture of the day, and after resetting the lure, Jerry is ready to band and measure the young bird.
So that's a red-tailed hawk, and this is a juvenile because the tail does not have that brick red color.
No matter hawk, owl, or falcon, raptors are all banded and measured in similar fashion. Inside the shed, Jerry uses an assortment of scales and tools to catalog each bird, starting by determining the size of the band for the raptor's leg.
I think this is going to be a 7B. Nope, I'm going to have to go with larger size.
Red-tailed hawks are actually rather docile birds while being held, but for their safety, as well as the banders, safe confinement is necessary to determine accurate weight.
1377, yeah.
Measure talon and leg length, as well as applying the band.
This is misleading. I'm not hurting the bird. If it did, we would not be doing any banding. The banding lab would say we can't do this because it's dangerous, it's harmful to the bird. So everything is designed for the safety and protection of the bird.
Finally, before the bird can be freed of its confinement, there's counting and measuring its 12 tail feathers.
Okay, coming out.
Now that the bird is no longer restrained, Jerry has only a couple measurements remaining, starting with the wing, which helps determine between species and subspecies.
This is probably the most important measurement I'll take. It's called the wing chord. It's from the wrist of the bird to the longest primary feather, longest flight feather.
The last assessments required are the length of the bird's beak and overall health check by inspecting its fat stores. Now all that's left is letting the hawk go. Jerry repeats this process over and over throughout the early fall, banding as many hawks, owls, and falcons as possible. Altogether, the banding process takes just under 8 minutes. While it might be stressful for the birds, banding and collecting population data helps conservationists protect the animals. And while Jerry does frequently band raptors without assistance, he prefers working with other banders, as it speeds up the process and helps find more birds.
Pretty day. So usually when I catch a hawk, It's nice to have a second person here luring, because our chances of catching another hawk is like almost 50% higher.
Sally Rakin is a fellow Raptor bander in Pottawatomie County. While she hasn't been banding as long as Jerry, she is just as skilled in tagging and luring. Sally assures worried birders that the luring technique involving nets does not harm the raptors.
The net does not harm the birds. I mean, sometimes they get snarled in there pretty good. Sometimes it'll ruffle up their feathers, but I've never had the net actually harm a bird. The little sharpshins can get their head and one wing all the way through, but never had an injury in the mist nets.
As much joy as Jerry and his peers take from their banding work, they know how lucky they are to have the opportunity. Because if it wasn't for the Loess Hills, the Hitchcock Raptor banding efforts would simply not exist.
There's really nothing else in the Midwest states that is doing this. And that's mostly because of geography. It doesn't pay to have a migration banding station any place where there is not a concentration of hawks in migration, and the Loess Hills provides that.
Children and the outdoors are made for each other. One has boundless energy, and the other offers endless opportunities to explore and experience the world.
Sadly, in today's technologically enhanced world, heading outdoors is not the first impulse for most children. However, the Iowa DNR is here to correct this behavior and give kids a hands-on opportunity to experience everything the outdoors has to offer.
For 7 years, the DNR has been teaming up with outdoor recreation and conservation groups from across the state to hold the Iowa Outdoor Expo. Held in Des Moines' Waterworks Park, there's no way a kid can walk away from the expo without an excitement for heading outside. Who could say no to an afternoon of shooting, rowing, fishing, and exploring?
Now you got it. Nice job, bud.
Well, apparently no one, as the DNR has proved. If you host a free hands-on event like the Iowa Outdoor Expo, practically everyone and their grandma will want to check it out.
It's everybody from your 2-year-old granddaughter to the 80-year-old grandmother. We get everyone and anyone, and it's wonderful. Some have been shooting and hunting all their life, and some are trying it for the first time.
For 7 years, the DNR has been putting on the Expo, exposing Iowans to virtually every activity that can be held out in nature. But it's not just the DNR that wants to show off the wonders of the outdoors. There's a whole slew of conservationists and outdoor recreationists working together to share their passion with others.
It's a combination of about 35 different organizations, Des Moines Isaac Walton League, Iowa DNR, Polk County Conservation, Des Moines Park and Rec all work real hard to get different entities out here.
Iowans who see themselves as casual outdoor adventurers most likely recognize the DNR, county conservation boards, as well as community parks and rec offices as guides to outdoor recreation. But the Isaac Walton League is just as knowledgeable and inviting to nature enthusiasts.
We're a bunch of hunters and fishermen. We love the outdoors. We protect the woods, the wildlife, the trees, and the water.
Affectionately referred to as the Ikes, the Isaac Walton League is a nationwide organization that prides itself on educating others on the value of our natural resources and wildlife. So teaming up with the DNR to host the Expo was a natural fit.
Well, like the League, this is a family event, so we want anybody to come. It's our efforts to get the kids back outside. They spend a lot of time inside with their technology, which is important, but we're helping them look for balance. So we have things like building birdhouses, shooting events out here. We've got fishing events. So it's the whole family. It's learning that you can appreciate things and get outside to do that.
Pull as hard as you can.
More than a learning experience, the Expo quickly converts attendees into full-fledged outdoor enthusiasts. For examples, look no further than kids. Addie is a Des Moines kid who wasn't looking forward to the Expo. That is until she saw paddleboarding. After getting out on the water, she quickly learned how fun and easy it is.
You just have to stand up on the board or kneel on your knees and paddle.
Every year, kids like Addie fall in love with one activity or another, with many having a hard time picking their favorite.
We did the archery. We shot some arrows at flying disc things. We went to the bird show and got some food. We did the minnow racing. Yeah. I didn't cooperate. And mine went really well. Really done the minnow racing. I never wanted to touch the minnows. Never.
My favorite part of the Iowa Outdoors Expo is just seeing the smiles of people trying something for the first time. Someone that's heard about trap shooting, never actually tried holding a shotgun, and then they hit their first clay, or to pick up the bow for the first time and to actually hit that arrow right where they were aiming it. It's pretty amazing just to see the smiles out here.
Of course, an afternoon shooting, rowing, and throwing is one thing, but the real sign of the Expo's work is visitors enjoying the outdoors after the event has ended. That's where organizations such as the Ikes come in, ensuring nature will continue to be enjoyed for generations to come.
Well, we hold cleanup, river run cleanups, fishing tournaments, fishing clinics, roadside cleanups, and we have fishing expeditions through the chapter, a couple of them every year.
So it's kind of making sure that some of your ideals stick around a few more years, seeing what has worked and what might work, but also to meet with other like-minded people, and that's a better Facebook when you're face to face.
That wraps up this fall edition of Iowa Outdoors. We encourage you to get outside and explore our state's parks like Hitchcock here in the Loess Hills. If you're planning any autumn outdoor travel, check out our extensive video archives of adventures from across Iowa online at iptv.org/Iowa Outdoors.
Our 5th season of Iowa Outdoors will continue with one more monthly installment in 2015 with stories from every corner of our state. We'll leave you now with some more autumn images in Iowa.
Funding for Iowa Outdoors is provided by the Claude P. Small, Catherine Small Cousins, and William Carl Cousins Fund at the Lincoln Way Community Foundation in Clinton County to support nature programming on Iowa Public Television.
Many of Iowa's natural wonders you'll find on IPTV can be found in Iowa Outdoors magazine, the Iowa DNR's premier resource for conservation, education, and recreation activities. Subscription information can be found online at iowadnr.gov.
Iowa Communications Network, ICN's Broadband Matters campaign, advocates for access to high-speed broadband in all corners of Iowa for education, public safety, healthcare, government, and economic development. Information is available at broadbandmatters.com.
Tiny openings around your house can let in a lot of cold air. This includes areas where you see light coming in, especially around windows, doors, and outlets. With the heating season approaching, Alliant Energy encourages you to weatherize now to make your home more energy efficient.